For those of you that are familiar with Tony Ferguson, you may know him for being at one point in time one of the scariest fighters in MMA. Not because he had devastating power or because he had suffocating grappling, but because of his relentless and unorthodox fighting style, it was pretty much guaranteed that he would leave his opponents battered and bloodied. Now Ferguson is on a 3-fight losing skid, losing fight after fight and getting dominated. So what happened? What led Ferguson from being the boogeyman, one of the scariest guys in the division, to now just being a stepping stone for up-and-coming prospects in the division? Some of you guys actually may or may not remember back in 2019, Tony Ferguson's wife actually got a restraining order on him, pretty much claiming he was acting crazy, having all sorts of psychotic and erratic behavior, and doing all sorts of crazy things. In this article here from MMA Junkie, his wife recounts all sorts of different scenarios. It says here, Christina Ferguson claimed that her husband stayed up all night, woke them up and demanded they leave because the lunar eclipse would cause a flood. He'd purchased a life raft and drove them 111 miles from their home to Palm Desert, California. And then it says here, on February 12th, Christina Ferguson alleged that Tony had a psychotic break. He screamed at her, believing her to be someone else. She woke up later that night actually with Tony standing overhead of her and accusing her of being a witch. And then here on February 16th, Tony Ferguson allegedly believed that there was cameras in his refrigerator and his ceiling fan. He also cut the wires to his HVAC unit. He believed it was a tracking device inside there. He tore their vanity mirror off the wall, like one of those bathroom mirrors. Believed there was something behind it, maybe a camera, something like that. He took his son's food away because he thought maybe it was poisoned. And then even further down it says, on February 19th, an unidentified female stated that Tony had not slept for 3 days and was tearing apart their home, broke apart their fireplace, and believed that someone had placed a computer chip in his leg, probably talking about the LCL surgery he had after he tripped over a wire in Brooklyn when he was supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. And then fast forward to March 5th, it says here that Christina Ferguson had tried to take her husband to the Keck Medical Center at USC, but he fled their cars, they hit traffic, crossing the freeway and then jumping over a fence. And I remember when a lot of this was actually unfolding, a lot of people were actually worried for Tony's mental health, maybe think that it was something fighting related, CTE related. I do believe he had brain scans and everything came back clean, he was good to fight, but there's no way he doesn't have CTE. I mean, like, he probably has CTE, but he's still good to fight, and this may be something fighting related. To help better visualize all this, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at Tony Ferguson's record so we can kind of get like a visual timeline of what's going on. So if you look here, while this whole psychotic episode was actually going down, it was in between the Cowboy Cerrone fight and the Anthony Pettis fight. The Anthony Pettis fight actually was the last fight that he had before this whole psychotic episode, because this was 2018, and the whole psychotic episode happened in the beginning of 2019. You saw it was February, March of 2019. And then the only fight he had after that in 2019 was the Cowboy Cerrone fight, which he won to a doctor's stoppage after Cowboy's eye pretty much swelled up and he couldn't continue. And honestly, I would expect Tony Ferguson to actually beat Cowboy Cerrone. They're actually talking about doing Cowboy Tony 2 right now, and honestly, I still believe, even though Tony's on a 3-fight losing skid, Cowboy's on like a 100-fight losing skid, I honestly believe that Tony would still win this fight. And then you fast forward, and that's when you have the losing skid. That Justin Gaethje fight was an absolute beatdown, took a lot of shots to his head, which again is not good for somebody who's already going through psychotic episodes, which may or may not be CTE related. I'm no neurologist, but if I'm guessing, the amount of shots that he took from Gaethje definitely damaged his brain. The damage he may have taken in this fight could have expedited, the deterioration that was already going on that we saw in the beginning of 2019. And then you fast forward to the Charles Oliveira and the beneil Dariush fights, which were complete domination. I mean, the Gaethje fight was pretty much complete domination as well. All these fights Tony was getting completely dominated in, and all these fights Tony took damage in, whether it was brain damage or damage to his joints, whatever. There's one thing we know about Tony Ferguson: he's insanely tough, and honestly might be too tough for his own good. I mean, if you look at the Oliveira fight, Oliveira had him in a completely locked in armbar. Tony's arm is bent back the other way, hyperextended. Honestly, the only thing that really saved Tony's arm from getting completely snapped back the other way was the bell. And then if you look at the beneil Dariush fight, Dariush had a completely locked in heel hook. Tony's foot, knee, everything was twisted over the other way. His knee popped and he did not tap. That just goes to show you what kind of maniac Tony is. You literally have to separate consciousness from Tony's body in order for him to quit, in order for him to stop coming at you. And that point is what makes me believe that maybe what we're seeing could be CT related, something brain damage related. Tony is just too tough for his own good, and I feel like Tony may have just put himself in the fire, whether it be gym wars, whatever. And the damage accumulation that he's definitely taken in his past couple fights doesn't help. If you watch Tony fight in his past 2 fights, it just doesn't even look like Tony. Like the way, like everything he does just looks slow. It doesn't look like the reaction time's there. It doesn't look like the sync with his brain and his body is there. It looks like he's just, it just looks like there's something missing. There's something off from what used to be Tony. It's just crazy to see someone who went from being a 12-fight win streak to a 3-fight losing skid, and honestly looks like he should retire now. I'm not saying this is 100% the case, but if it isn't the case, there definitely has to be some sort of related factor to CT. Someone who already has maybe mental health problems or is a little bit unstable or whatever, throwing in, getting punched in the head, and the amount of damage this guy has taken, that definitely doesn't help, and it makes for a cocktail of all sorts of crazy. I really hope the best for Tony, and I really hope he gets things figured out. I don't know, you guys let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. What you guys think is next for Tony. I think maybe the cowboy fight and do that. Winner should retire, loser should retire. I don't know, I just don't want to see Tony keep taking damage like this and just keep losing, because it just sucks to see someone like this, who was such a great fighter, just go down this path now. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, please be sure to drop a like. If you guys are not subscribed already, please subscribe. I really appreciate your guys' support. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.